Do you skateboard?
I skated terribly for my whole childhood.
Same.
I was trash, and I
lead, and I was like, yo, I'm Tony Hawk.
Yeah, bro, I could literally, I could kick flip, I could heel flip, I could 50-50 curves. I don't rep skating. I didn't rep it my whole career because it's not my place to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't rep hip hop my whole career.
Yeah.
Like, I would wear like a De La shirt or like a Toy Machine shirt or a girl shirt randomly, but like, just because that's what I like. But I get you. If you're a skater, you don't want the kid from Superbad making the definitive skate movie, or the definitive hip hop movie about growing up listening to hip hop. About both, about all of it. And what's been dope has been showing it to. I put in 4 years to make sure I respected the people that shaped me and that I loved growing up. Yeah. So when you get to show it to people that you admire, that would be the biggest haters, and have them enjoy the film. That's what really means something to me. Yeah. You know?
No, because it's like people like going back to like, you know, the comment like, yo, I'm funny Jonah, you know what I mean? And then you did Moneyball, so it's like, oh, you're serious now, you know what I mean? Like, how did you navigate that when a lot of motherfuckers can't? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Jim Carrey, like he's on some shit, you know what I'm saying? But like,
you see that doc about Jim Carrey?
Yeah,
it was amazing. Like, you see that one where he's doing Man on the Moon?
Oh yeah, Kaufman. Yeah, that was good. But like
sick.
The serious shit, I'm just like, or what was it, 23?
Oh, the number 23.
Yeah, the number 23. I was like, yo,
you took it back.
Yeah, I
don't even think Jim Carrey remembers that movie.
Yeah, he's like, yo, fam. He's like, yo, the check cleared. Fuck it.
No, once he did the Cable Guy, everyone was like, wow.
But Cable Guy's hard as fuck.
That's a great movie.
Amazing movie.
But it didn't get enough. It didn't get its attention
movie, and it's so dark.
At the time.
Yeah. Look, if you come out as something. People want you to remain that thing because it gives them a feeling of safety.
Right.
And people don't give a fuck to think about anybody but themselves for more than a split second. So they think of me. I don't think people are thinking about me.
Right.
They look at me, they go, fat kid from Superbad, you know? And they put you in that box and you're like, well, I'm probably going to blow my brains out if I don't behave like the person. And if I don't behave like the person that I actually am and honor the person that I actually am. And it took me 10 years growing up in front of everybody, getting made fun of, getting fucking clowned on. And I took it and it started to hurt me and I started to take it out of myself. And I was like, you know what? I took 4 years, wrote this movie that is exactly from my heart, that is my taste, that is my point of view, that is my voice as a filmmaker. And at the same time, became happy with who I was and could go, look, I don't want to be treated up here and I don't want to be treated down here.
Right.
I want the basic respect of a human being that I would give to anybody else.
Yeah.
So don't put me up and don't knock me down. Even sitting here with you guys, I can talk to you how I am as opposed to how I think you want me to behave on your show.
Right.
You know, like 2 years ago or 4 years ago, I might have been like way more bits and blah, 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 just because I felt I couldn't just sit and talk to you guys. Whereas now I have mad respect for you guys. I can sit and just have a conversation. Yeah, exactly.
So you're saying like you were a terrible skater in your childhood.
Yeah.
So how much of this...
Back to not putting myself down. I was a terrible skater.
Good segue.
I was legit.
How much of it was
good.
based on like Jonah? Like how much of the character was Jonah?
I grew up skating in West LA. Can relate to all of the characters.
Okay.
You know, I grew up privileged. I went to private school.
Nice.
I went to
your graduating class is like the 05 draft, bro.
Yeah, Baron Davis was in my school. But I grew up skating, and that definitely got me out of a bubble I would have remained in my entire life. So look, I'm not like fronting to be anything but what I am. But it changed my life because I probably just would have been friends with other Jewish kids. And I made friends like outside of my race, outside of my socioeconomic bubble. And I can relate to being a lonely kid and finding the people that like the same shit as you. And that put you on to the shit that makes you inspired, right?
A lot of Jewish kids don't skate?
No, man, they don't like to fall down.
Oh.
Can you that's a fact.
I can see that. I can see that.
I did. I was more self-punishing until I got some more esteem, right? But it just was more like the vibe. Like in the film, when the kid sees the skaters, he's like, the guy who owns JJ, the King of Beepers, shout out. We did this, our production designer, Jamin, plays JJ, the King of Beepers, which was LA, like OG beeper commercial. Right. But we made it next to the skate shop and he comes out and yells at them. Kids are like, fuck you. When I saw that they weren't taking shit, I was like, I want to I want to be with them.
Yeah.
You know, and then they dressed amazing. They put me onto the
cool
correct
kids.
hip hop, the correct punk, you know, ethic, a lens that you see shit through, and closeness. And closeness in a way where you're like murdering each other, but you know you would take a bullet for the next person. And that's the kind of shit I wanted to explore in the movie. And it's been amazing to watch people connect to watching it, right? And they have a hard time. I didn't put myself in the movie for a reason. I don't want you to think about me.
Right.
It's not about me. It's about the story that these kids, right? So like when reviewers are salty on me because look, I get it. I've had a lot of success. I'm easy to take shots
yeah.
at, bro. Like I get it.
Yeah,
These
of
are like
course.
wannabe filmmakers that hate on me for getting to make the shit I want to make.
What kind
I'm
of
sure you
shots are
guys
they
get
taking
hate
at?
because you guys are blowing the fuck up. Like, right? Just anyone who wants what you have.
What kind of shots are like what are people saying?
The funniest part is the ones that hurt me. The only ones that hurt me because I'm a human being. I'll be honest, and everyone's full of shit. They'll be like, "I don't read reviews. Doesn't hurt me. I'm
Right.
cool."
Yeah, no,
Fucking shit.
I'm the total. I wear that shit on my sleeve. I'm like,
Shit
bro,
feels
I
like
read the
salt
comments.
in a wound.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know
like,
what's
yo,
the worst? I try to avoid the comments, and so if I come across a negative comment, like just randomly, it's just like holy shit.
It's self-harm.
Yeah.
You might as well hit yourself in the head with a baseball bat because
I want to hit that person in the head with a baseball
you
bat.
do,
That's
but
my
really
problem.
you're just doing it to yourself. Like when
Yeah.
I do it, I could see like positive, don't care. Hey, you fat fuck, you fucking
That's the
privileged
one.
white
And
straight
that's the
male.
one in
fucking-
your head. You're
And
like,
I go
fuck.
walk around the rest of the day and I'm like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm like, why did I just put myself through
Why'd I
this?
do that?
I just worked hard to be like, I treated people nicely. I
Yeah.
did shit for other people. I
And
have good
you
self-esteem.
ignore all the other positive ones that
And you
read
don't
before
believe the
that.
positive and you only believe the negative.
Negative.
So, look, everyone's go, poor him. I literally feel like I can't say shit because you're
Right.
like, oh, poor you, motherfucker.
Yeah, your
blah,
life
blah,
is
blah.
so good. What do you have to complain about?
Yeah.
And
Nah,
I don't.
it's-
I have a fucking ill life. I'm here with two people I listen to every day.
Hey.
I'm a fan of getting to talk to
Gang,
them
gang.
to promote a movie that I love, right? I didn't have to bullshit or compromise. I made a movie that I love, which is the biggest win and joy ever. It's a movie a lot of people wanted to make. And so a lot of people were pissed off that someone else made it, you know? And I get
That's gonna
that
happen.
too.
You could have made fucking Superman 12, bro, and they would have been mad. Like,
Bro.
you know what I'm saying? Because just the name, because people always assume, I feel like people always assume like, oh, he's in, so he has like, you know, an advantage that I don't have or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? But at
But
the
I
end of
am.
the day,
I do have
you got-
advantages. I'm privileged. I'm a famous actor.
Yeah, but like,
Like, bro,
But then-
like,
We should recognize
I'm
that.
also a white straight male. Like,
Yeah.
I get it, bro. Like,
you gotta. That's on Front Street. But at the end of the day, if you put out whack shit, motherfuckers like us are gonna be like, yo, that shit was
it's
fucking
gonna
whack.
clown it, yeah, murder it. And you know
Yeah.
what? I stand by this movie 20 years from now. All the homies, all the people I respect, will watch the movie and say it was good.
Yeah.
I know that because I know that.
Right.
I would hate on it, be the first person to trash it, right? But like, when you're in mainstream movies, right? You're trying to fit a J. Rue or an OC song in a film that doesn't want it.
Right.
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 And so you're literally trying to like, all right, I'm making this like broad mainstream comedy where they make me wear like normal ass Gap t-shirts in like bright blue because they
Yeah.
can't associate with
They're
anything. Like,
Right.
You want this? I
Can't clear any logos. Yeah.
dude, I've had studio heads say you can't lose weight. I've had studio heads say you can't wear this brand because it's too urban. You can't
Wow.
do Breakfast Club or Big Boy because it's too like urban. And if I was not in my 20s and if I wasn't insecure, I would have told them to fuck off.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And so instead of trying to fit shit into movies that don't want it, I'm not some ambassador for the culture of hip hop, skateboarding, anything. But I have the power to make movies, or at least make one, and hopefully to get to make more. I wanted to put on the shit and respect the shit that I actually have been wanting to put in movies for a long time. I am not an ambassador for any of this shit. I just made a movie that I love that I want people to go see. What's dope about you guys is, and we were talking about it before, is that you guys, if you guys are on the trajectory and do become Conan or Letterman, right?
Let's go.
That is the actual win of a shift, right? Because it's not just the same person over and over again. That you guys represent certain things, have a certain voice that is underrepresented, that obviously connects to a shitload of people that feel underserved, whatever your race or whatever is. And if you guys become like Letterman, that's what I mean about that kind of shift, where things that were typically seen as lower forms of art and not put on become like the main thing, right? That is ill to me, you know?
Have you ever been in a pitch meeting and there's like I always notice this about like pitch meetings. It's like there's like the old head executive, and then there's like the young executive, and you're telling the young executive and the old executive the same pitch at the same time. The old executive's just like, and the young guy's like, yeah.
No, because the young person is scared to get a movie executive's job. This is what's fucked up about okay, not fucked up. There are way more systemic fucked up things in the movie industry. I caught myself very I'm just saying what I noticed that's fucked up in that industry in the big studio system is an executive's job is not to get fired.
Yeah.
Yep.
A successful career as a movie executive is 30 years staying under the radar.
Yeah.
If people not too much credit.
If
for
people
the
know your
wins
name,
or the losses.
you kind of fucked up. Yeah.
So you may say some shit, and they may personally pull you aside and go like, hey, "That's the shit I want, man. I want it," but they will never say shit. So, and I get it because if they take a risk, if they make mid-90s and it doesn't make $1 bajillion, they're the first person to get fired.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, companies like A24. You know,
shout out to A24.
Shout out to A24 for really like supporting filmmakers and really like making cool movies.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of shit. Hopefully, is one of these is gonna, whether it's me or whether it was Greta Gerwig, whether it's Bo Burnham, like it may not be me.
Right.
One of these things is gonna pop in a real way.
Yeah.
And there's going to start to be a floodgate opening for movies of real different voices coming out. Now, look, I'm not one of them, but like, hopefully, the next person is, right? Yeah. Or I could put on the next person who is, you know?
That's important, man. To have people that are on say, like, yo, I'm on. I have this advantage. I have this privilege or whatever.
Just pull people in.
Yeah, let me pull my man in who doesn't have this advantage, this privilege. Like, let me put him on and put him front and center and fall back. Like you're saying, like, I didn't want to be in the movie because I didn't want to be about me.
It's not about me. I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about something I love and people that I love. Like those cast of characters, those kids are amazing. They deserve the shine that they're going to get off of this. And for me, just watch. If this works, see the people that I put on. That character Ray in the movie, it's his first film, and he just smashes it, bro. He smashes it.
I was like, who is this dude? Because I was like, he has to have been in other shit.
He's a famous pro skateboarder, so he was already like, you know, has his own shoe at Adidas. He's like a successful man, but he had never acted. And I don't think he'd ever thought about it. I don't want to speak too much for him. I think he said he never thought about it, but it was his first performance. And he killed so hyped for that guy, man. Like, and so grateful to him. Because also he is such a respected skateboarder that him being in the film definitely co-signed us in a way. Same with Mikey Alfred, one of our co-producers. He owns his company, Illegal Civ. That's dope. Check it out. But, you know, when you get those cosigns, it literally is like someone, or like when Q-Tip gives us a song right away, you're like, okay, you breathe a sigh of like, people know, because that's how I judge shit.
Right.
I'm like, okay, like Jesus and Mero co-signed it. Okay, like they must be not super sus. You know, it's like, and so those moments, they literally validate, you know, they allow you to take the hits when there's hits, because you're like, fucking Paul Thomas Anderson liked it. You know what I mean? Like that's the shit, or Spike. Like that's the shit where you're like, all right, some old ass fucking angry person writes how they don't like the language in the movie and they don't understand why I put it in like that.
Well, I mean, you're always gonna have that.
Yeah,
I also made a choice. My friend put it really. I'm really grateful to my friend because I get so wrapped up and it's hard. You lose perspective when you're in something, right?
Yeah.
But I chose to show with language and actions like homophobia and misogyny, like toxic masculinity, right? And I deliberated over this for years and decided it was way more fucked up to revise history and change it and lie than to show it exactly how it was and have that ugliness shine through in the movie.
Yeah.
And a lot of old people that are scared, like reviewers that are scared to get in trouble for co-signing that, they go in on me for it, you know? But anyone, like my friends who've seen the film, there has not been one person that is not, that I respect, that hasn't understood the respect in showing it honestly, as opposed to pretending like people didn't talk like that. Right? Like hip hop music, it's like bitches, misogyny, you know, like stuff like that, where you're like, I still love the music, but when I listen to some of it, I'm like, God damn, you know what I mean?
That
like,
old stuff, you're just like, yo, wow.
Like I listened to Doggy Style front to back the other day, and I was like, damn, this shit slaps. But God,
I mean, there's a song about like pretty much like gang rape on Doggy Style. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no fun if the homies can't.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just like, ain't no fun.
The worst part, you put that shit on a party, everyone knows the words.
Well, that's like the Chris Rock bit, right? Like women are like, respect me, and then like the hip hop. I forgot what song it is.
A motherfucking house.
So it'd be interesting to hear someone call out Mel Brooks What if I'm just like,
You
Mel
wanna
Brooks, like,
call him
why the
out?
fuck you going
This
in
is
on me
your spot
right now,
right now.
dude?
He's like,
It's your
yo,
time right
he's
now.
like
Call out Mel
105
Brooks.
years old.
He's like, yo.
Wait, is Mel Brooks still alive?
Yeah.
He is.
Him and Carl Reiner kick it like every night, which is kind of cute. And
When's the last time
adorable.
you seen Mel Brooks?
I never met him, but
Never met him, but you ever seen him in a restaurant?
A friend of mine has a 3-legged dog, my homie
Okay.
Max, and he was walking, and I guess there's this restaurant in Beverly Hills where all the show of shows writers, like the OG, like Carl Reiner, all
Yeah.
those dudes, get together every like a weekday and have lunch.
Nice.
And my friend's walking his 3-legged dog, and Mel Brooks just goes, "Hey kid, your dog's missing a leg." And all those dudes start laughing. Like all those dudes start cracking up.
That's definitely
And my
old man.
friend like
too.
texts me like, "Yo, I just got like roasted
Roasted
by
by
like Mel Brooks and all his boys." Yeah, my 3-legged handicapped dog just got like murked by Mel Brooks at like 11 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Oh man.
So he's not invited to Seder.
It's a cool time. It's a good time, but it's also could be a real opportunity for learning that I don't know if it's going to be because both sides are acting so crazy.
right.
You know, like. My sister's really dope. You should have her on sometime. She's ill.
Yeah, my
She's a
sister-in-law-
homie. She's like really just like smart about
up.
life. Yeah.
Listen, we're having all types of we don't guess that people wouldn't normally expect us to have on a show like you.
I was honored to be on this show because
are our
you so
first real
rarely
guest.
have guests.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm always like, it's so sick that they don't have guests because I'm sure people want to just promote shit all the time. And so for me, it was an honor that you guys would want to have me on. Like, I'm a true
Well,
fan.
what I appreciate is the way you are weaving in and out from promoting your movie and talking to us. Because some people would just come and do the hard sell.
Yo, son.
And just be like, every time we talk about, like, well, you know, Mel Brooks is this, but you know what's better? At the end of my movie, blah, blah, blah.
And listen, sometimes guilty is charged, but it does remind me. It is on my mind right now, so
Yeah.
sometimes it does remind me of it. But I have way too much respect for you and your audience to just come in here and like sell shit. You
Right.
know,
Spiel,
like
yeah.
I'm a fan. I listen to the show. If someone was doing that, I'd be like,
What is this
fast
shit?
forward
to it.
please. Yeah. So-
Play it at-
15.
Yeah,
No, just play it. No, the secret is to play it at double speed.
When you fall asleep, because I love your guys' show, and sometimes I fall asleep to it.
Yeah.
But but like, I won't. I'll have to find where I left off, and I'll be
Like-
15. Like, and I'll be like, I went.
Right there.
I went 15
Too
too far,
far.
but like now I just went 8
Oh,
minutes
man.
back too far, and I don't want to hear this part again. And then I'll keep falling asleep to the same part. You know what I'm saying? Like
man.
podcast problems, right?
Yeah.
We all got them.
Listen,
We all.
it happens
You
to
wouldn't trade your
everybody.
shit for anybody else's, man. We all got podcast problems.
What's your barometer for success for this movie?
So, the day you lock something that you didn't compromise, that you love, that your friends love, that's the experience.
Yeah.
And the process is the experience. Now, my ego and my little bitchness gets in the way constantly because I'm like, I want this reward, I want this review, I want this person to like it.
That's human. That's
It's
like
human,
nature.
and I'm not like smashing myself for it. But the real OG place I'd like to get to, which I don't know if anyone ever gets to, is truly just being satisfied. I'm lucky. I got to make a movie that I love. Yo, that's ill. Like that's my
Right.
dream my whole life.
Yeah.
All I can do is say the shit that's truthful to me, and the people that get it, and the people that don't, and that's what's up. You know.
And yo, motherfuckers say like money don't buy happiness, B. Like it really don't. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it gets you cool shit and it gets you on a path towards it. I guess like if you're coming from nothing, but like I think doing shit that you're proud of is much better than being rich.
Yeah, I'm looking
You know what I'm
forward to like parenthood.
Yeah.
That's something I look forward to
Yeah.
because it's unselfish.
It's dope.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I've been selfish enough. Making a movie is all about the movie was like my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie came before me, my needs, anybody else's needs, the movie's needs are taken care of.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to give that to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
actually be like, you're more important than me.
It's a
You know? Like that's sick. Like I think
Nice.
that's cool.
just some advice.
Don't do it.
No. Honestly, I know like that. Like as a father, if get help after you have more than 2 children, because it's like
What kind of help?
maybe like a nanny,
Yeah, we talking about
Okay.
2 already.
Oh, you're talking
Yeah.
about like people super like watching the
like
kids.
helping you with the kids, because
Okay.
like kids, like you said, like it's like once you have a kid, it's like your life being like, yo, it's me. This is the me show.
Right.
It's like it's not the me show anymore. It's like it's the us show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to be aware of like, you know, what is he going through? Like, why is he acting out in school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why is he having such a hard time with this? Like, why is he acting out? Why is
Right.
he? You know what I mean? So it's like you got to juggle all this stuff. And it's hard, but it's fulfilling at the end of the day because it's like you're molding human beings into people that you want to better the human race with. You know what I mean? Like my kids get mad though, and they beat each other's ass because I got 3 boys and they fuck around.
3 boys, that's
and a daughter. The daughter's the youngest, and the 3 boys like they always fuck each other up. Like that's how they
communicate.
That's how they solve
communication. A friend of mine said to me the other day, he's like, fighting is a language. Like I try and speak any other language, and ultimately, if you can't, that's the language. Yeah. That's the last resort. Yeah. But for young men, like pretty much like the second or first language is physical.
What was your first fist fight?
Actually, to be really honest, I got my board stolen at the courthouse, this place that we talk about in the movie, and this kid stole my board. And I was at this shop called Hot Rod hanging out all the time. And they had a barbecue every year. And I was probably like 12 or 13. And the kid showed up with my board.
Wow, violation.
Yeah, and
That's
he showed up and he showed up with my board.
The nerve.
And I got all the older people at the shop because they all were like my big brothers. Yeah. And I was like, dude, the guy showed up here. He's right there with the board. And it was this moment that I didn't put in the film that I think about all the time, where I punched him, but like I didn't like it, and it wasn't fair. Because even though he stole my board, I knew I wasn't going to get my ass kicked.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I still feel guilt about it. Like if I ever see that dude, I'll apologize. Because like even though he wronged me and he stole my board, I, quote in quotes, fought him, but I was like a nerdy, like overweight kid. I wasn't strong. I wasn't tough, and I knew the tougher people would have jumped in and beat the fuck out of him. So because they told me they would, you know.
Feel you.
So that's I hadn't thought about that in a long time. So thanks for even asking me.
Bring it back to
emotional trauma.
It wasn't as cool. It wasn't as funny of a story, but that's what I'm saying about life is like there's a joke version of that, right? Yeah. Probably a couple years ago, I would have spun a funny version of that, which is what comedians do.
Yeah,
that's being a comedian, right?
Yeah. I feel like that's the best part of being a comedian is being able
turning
to
pain
into making other people laugh with recycling your pain into.
It's like the great poet Ja Rule said, "Pain is love."
Pain is love.
But it's also important to actually talk about things in a way where you're processing them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times my point is that jokes avoid processing real shit. And so everyone's be like, fuck you, we're Superbad Jonah, be funny. And like the truth is like, I love being funny. But like, if you deny this shit and you don't talk about it, it builds up and fucks your life up, dude. You gotta be able to be like, that was a weird circumstance. I also have the funny version of that story, but that story isn't funny enough to go to the funny version.
Right.
That was actually fucked up.
Damn.
Yeah. So,
Jonah,
the truth.
We got to wrap.
I'm sorry I talked everybody's head off.
It's all right. We loved it. It was great.
They're going to go fast forward 15 seconds. Like, so is he still fucking talking about his feelings? Like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Oh, shit. I fast forwarded to the Palm Dior shit twice.
What's a palm door? What's a palm door?
What are the key cut? Is it a dog?
One last hard sell for the movie. Tell people name of the movie where they can see it.
Yo, this is just an honor to be on this show. I'm obviously here to talk about mid-90s because I love it and care about it. But go see it. I believe in it if you want to. And if you don't, I'm not going to be putting pressure on you. But I promise you, it's from the heart, and I think it's really great.
I think this shit is dope. And I'm a tastemaker.
It gets 4 platinos
on
the Miro scale.
You know what I'm saying?
4 platinos.
You know
That's kind of bucket list for me a little bit, guys. I'm not going to lie. Kind of scratch one off the bucket list.
Hey, give it up for Jonah Hill, live from Milk Studios.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming through, my guy.
Thank you. That was so fun, man. That was so fun.
My guy.